Hey guys, it's Elizabeth, Finding Elizabeth, and we're here for a special Aussie version of The Naked Truth. And of course, I started preparing really early, like 3 hours in advance, and I screwed up by doing that, so sorry. We're a little late, and there's a new link. I'm thrilled tonight to be here with Jennifer Bleacher. Hey!
Hi!
Welcome,
everyone!
I haven't seen you since we were eating pizza at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right? That's one of my favorite. I mean, the whole weekend was amazing, but that was one of my favorite times. Was our 5 a.m. pizza.
You can't take the pizza lover out of the weight loss surgery patient.
No, absolutely not. Especially when you get home at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we are very excited tonight to have Ginny with us. I forgot. Is it VSGinny? Is that your YouTube channel?
VSGinny, because I thought I would be creative and put VSG together with Ginny, and they share a G. And
okay.
Yeah, but then it just got really confusing. So winning on picking that name. Good job.
Well, I am going to put a link to her channel in the description box below after the show is all over and it's been posted. I'll put a link to her channel then. So welcome. We're very excited to see you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for getting up early for us.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't too early, but for us it was early. My husband's still in bed, so hopefully he can sleep through my blathering.
So, how's everybody's week been?
Mine's been great. How's yours been, Jennifer?
Good. Sorry, I was still trying to delete that old post. Okay, it is now deleted. Okay, my week was good. Not as good as my weekend. Oh, I had such an amazing weekend this weekend.
You had some great pictures. What were you doing?
The first thing we did was this, like, they call it escape. I forgot what it's called now, escape chambers or something like that, where they put you in a room, they lock you in a room for an hour, and then you have to escape. Like.
Oh, wow. With how many people?
There were 10 people in our group, and there was actually like 3 rooms that we progressed through, and then we did it. We escaped. We had like 16 minutes to spare, and the room that we were in only has a 20% success rate of people, successfully getting out of the room. So it felt really good. And you have to solve like a bunch of puzzles to get keys to locks and codes to locks and open doors, and it's a lot of fun. And I was really excited because I was actually the one who solved a lot of the puzzles. So it was like, yeah, made me feel pretty good. It was really fun. Yeah.
Almost like you're a school teacher or something.
Yeah, right. It's almost like I've done this before. Actually, I did this exact same thing with my class just like 2 months ago. So, but I mean, it was of course different puzzles, but.
So you weren't cheating, right?
No, I wasn't cheating.
I've never heard of that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It does. It was so much fun.
My week was better.
How about you, Liz?
Yeah, it started out not so great, but kicked in, set some new goals, and I'm actually down 7 pounds since Monday, so that feels pretty good.
Great job.
So feeling very good about that about now. And the weather's lovely here. It's been a great weekend. So all's good.
So what are you down to now? Can I ask?
Well, 201.6 today. So.
Awesome. Very close to getting back under that mark.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think you did differently this week that caused you to lose 7 pounds in 1 week?
I'm going to sound like a real alcoholic when I tell you this. But what I did was decide that I could not have any alcohol until I'd had 64 ounces of water and 60 to 80 grams of protein.
Okay.
And I don't think it's about the alcohol as much as it is the me getting in the water and the protein, because I think I was getting a little off track with that.
Yeah. That's the hardest part, I think. Especially on, like, if you ever have days when you just don't really feel like you're not really feeling up to, eating much, or or is that just my still kind of only a year out tummy talking? I don't know, but
a little bit. But I had stopped sort of focusing on protein. It's like I would eat when I was hungry, and I wouldn't eat that much, and I wasn't tracking, and so I know I wasn't getting enough protein. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yay! Congratulations. That's awesome. How about you, Jenny? How was your week? Oh, I'm sorry, Liz.
No, that's okay. Oh, no, I was just going to tell people that they can post their questions on the Q&A, or they can text me, 714-625-5663. Amy and Gretchen are watching, as is Al, VSG11B.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Yeah, and if you didn't see it when you came into the Hangout, there should have been a little box that says like be a part of this conversation or something. And if you didn't see that, you can hit refresh on your YouTube link, and it should pop that box up for you again, so you can interact with us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
good.
if that doesn't work, they can leave and come back.
Yeah. I was just trying to tell people, because I know I have people watching that don't always watch, so don't always watch the naked truth. Like my mother-in-law. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Jenny's mother-in-law.
Hopefully, she found the link and is seeing this. But yeah, I had a good week. As you guys know, I took myself back down to 20 grams of carbs to keto levels this last week, because I was trying to get under 300, and I made it, which was amazing. But it's Easter weekend now, so not so keto this weekend, but it's Monday now, so it's back on it. But
right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been a crazy good week. Oh, it was also my my 2-year wedding anniversary, so it's been a good week for me.
Congratulations.
And your surgiversary. Has that already happened, or no? That's coming up this week.
Today. It's right now.
Yeah, you have a lot of things to celebrate. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Happy surgiversary.
Thank you.
I didn't realize your surgiversary is so close to your anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually thought I was going to have surgery on my 1-year wedding anniversary, but then the hospital flooded and it got delayed 5 days. So they had a lot of rain, and the operating rooms were like under a few inches of water, and so they couldn't have it, and so they pushed it back 5 days. So there you go.
And you're in Australia, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was born and raised in the U.S. Yeah, obviously from my accent, not an Australian accent. But my husband moved out here several years ago, and I joined him 2 years ago, and we got married. And I've been here ever since, and I love it. It's beautiful. It's like getting to live somewhere where you feel like you're on holiday, most of the time, because the weather's beautiful. Liz knows. Liz knows what that's like.
Yes.
Yes. You both are very, very lucky. It snowed 2 days ago here.
Yeah, well, I went to school in Western. I went to college, aka uni for you Aussies, in like Western Massachusetts, where you like literally walk out of the house in the winter, and it's so cold that your like eyes water and your nose runs, and it all like instantaneously freezes to your face. It's lovely, so lovely.
Yep.
I have never lived.
You can feel my pain.
I have never lived anywhere like that, and I never will live anywhere like that.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm working really hard to get back to the warm weather. We have a long-term plan in place.
Good.
So I'm going to go ahead and do the community celebrations. So this week, Kim Stephanopoulos and Mandy Revise, they both hit Wonderland.
Woo!
So congratulations, ladies. How exciting. Collarbones. Out. Did we lose Liz?
No, I think we're... Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was me or you.
Yeah. It was Jennifer, I think.
Yeah, Jennifer, you're cutting out a little bit. I think we might have lost Jennifer. Okay, so while we're getting Jennifer back and she can finish community celebrations, I did...
Okay.
Nope, okay. I just want
to. Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Jennifer,
am I back?
Not really. Your face
I'm
is
gonna
frozen.
go yell at my boys.
Okay, go yell at your boys.
Probably using technology.
Okay, and in the interim, I am going to say, I just want to, and Jennifer may have this on, it's not really a community celebration, but I just want to send out our thoughts and prayers to Aubrey in Wonderland. She had her surgery last week and apparently is back in the ER with a collapsed lung. So if you guys could send her your thoughts, that would be great. And I just wanted to talk about WLSFA really quickly. Couple things that are exciting. Number one is they're doing a new thing this year as part of the dinner on Saturday night, which I am very privileged to be a part of. And it's kind of like, if any of you guys are familiar with The Moth, it's a storytelling, it's a podcast, it's a show on NPR. I'm going to talk about WLSFA real quick, and then you can come back and finish the community celebrations. So and they do, people perform their stories live at events around the country. So WLSFA is doing that as part of their dinner on Saturday night, and there will be 4 of us telling stories. I will be one of those people. I have a good friend who is actually a Moth winner and whose story is going to be in the upcoming book of Moth stories. And I went and met with him last week, and he coached me on my story. These are all stories around our, not necessarily our weight loss surgery journey, but obesity, but about being overweight. And so I am super excited about that. I think that's going to be really fun, and that'll be Saturday night. There are 4 of us. I just got a little graphic from Laura to promote it, and I'll put that out on Facebook later. And then I'm also doing 2 panels on Friday that are all of some of our favorite YouTubers. That's now I can't even remember everybody. It's Tanya and Phil and Patty and Lindsay and Lauren and the Mahoneys and Gastric Tiger, and I think that's everybody. So there's 2 different panels. Oh, and Sarah, Less of Sarah. How can I forget Less of Sarah? So we'll be doing panels on sort of like how YouTube's impacted your weight loss surgery journey. So I hope you guys will come. I got my tickets last week, my plane tickets. So very, very, very excited.
I'm so jealous. I wish I could be there. It sounds amazing.
I'm so excited. So the YouTube panel, there's going to be 2 YouTube panels?
Yeah, I actually invited so many people. I had to like beg them to give me 2 because it was too, I mean, they're only like 50-minute blocks. And we would never get through it. And there's actually going to be a 3rd panel that's going to be on sort of starting out as a YouTuber if you want to make YouTube videos. And Tony, I don't think I say her name right, Namath, who's the president of WLSFA, will be doing that talk.
Okay, awesome. Very exciting.
Yes.
So back to community celebrations. Did you guys hear Liz Legrini when I was talking about her collarbones?
No.
Okay, so she found her collarbones this week, so we're all very excited for her. Jess Wojcicki, Jess Wojcicki, who Elizabeth and I got to meet a couple weekends ago in Chicago, is now officially not obese, just in the overweight category. So congratulations, Jess. Precious A. Roberts is down 100 pounds. Woohoo, that's awesome. Jill Werfelman just got pregnant 1 year post-op. Congratulations.
Aww.
I know it's a really big thing. I know it's actually sometimes why people have surgery in the first place is so they could have children. Just a couple more. Those were the ones from Facebook, but I had a couple from YouTube this week. Dave Pate, who I just met through YouTube this week, he has lost 183 pounds.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He started at 342 and he's down to 159. So congratulations, David. And Mr. Bubbles Cookies has lost over 300 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So you understand that. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. Yeah, but that just I said to him, "You've lost a weight loss surgery patient. Like that that is incredible." And then Al, who you said is watching live, he is our newbie of the week. I am after the show. I know I haven't had a newbie of the week all year.
I need to start doing that.
Yes. So I just had, I don't know, this week I had a little extra time to catch up on some YouTube videos. So I watched some videos of Al. Very entertaining guy, really interesting story. We're always looking for guys in the community because there aren't a lot of them, so it helps out the other guys in the community. So I will put a link to his channel below in the description box after the show tonight, so you can all go and subscribe to him. I think you will not be disappointed. So those are all my shout-outs.
When I was first starting out, you guys made me newbie of the week, and I felt like so privileged and so happy about that. So yeah, keep doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just say, people, if you're a newbie, because I don't know if I subscribe to everybody who subscribes to me, but I may not get around to watching those videos for a long time. So if you're a newbie and you want us to check you out and feature you, post your video on the Naked Truth page so we can do that, because I would love to bring that back. Great.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I already talked about WLSFA, so.
Oh, okay. So Ginny, will you give us just your basic stats, like where you started, everything, what kind of surgery you had?
Yeah, sure. In January of 2014, I was 600 pounds, and let's see, I'm 295 pounds as of Friday. I only weigh on Fridays when I'm behaving myself. I try to only weigh on Fridays. Yeah, so I've lost a total of like 304 point whatever pounds.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, and I had the sleeve, the VSG, in March of last year. So.
And just for general information, how old are you? How tall are you?
Oh, I'm 37. I'm a midget. I'm 5'2".
I didn't realize you were that tiny.
Yeah, and so you can picture like 600 pounds and 5'2", like what, exactly how difficult things were. But I still, I was very, very fortunate to be more, I guess, mobile than a lot of people I knew who were that size, who really struggle with that. And I really feel lucky that I was able to, I had a full-time PR job, and still was able to do most of my own shopping and things like that. But it was a struggle. It was a real struggle. So yeah.
Just wanted to let you know that VSG Tony Michigan is watching, and he says, Jenny, that you're looking great, and he wants to know, why do you think James Haney has an irrational hatred of Quest bars?
Why do
I don't know. Because he prefers bacon, I guess. I don't know. But speaking of bacon, you don't like Quest bars either?
No, I've never liked them.
I only like the apple pie Quest bars. That's it. That's the only one I can tolerate. Do they have those in Australia, Jenny?
They do, actually. If you go to certain health food stores, I've become expert at tracking down random things from the U.S. like that. But yeah, I actually just recently tried the pumpkin pie flavored one for the first time, and I heard so many people hating on that. Nobody liked it. I actually liked it.
Oh,
so I'm just a weirdo.
I'm the only person I've ever heard of who likes the apple pie one. But
I like that one too. I think I've tried that one, but yeah, I don't eat a lot of Quest bars.
Gretchen just reminded me that I like the new version of the cookie dough. I actually did. I tried it in Chicago, and I like the new version of the cookie dough. But speaking of bacon, you did a video this week celebrating your 300-pound loss, and you talked about an episode with bacon when you were a child and kind of growing up. And I just wondered if you could share that in case people didn't see that video. I just thought it was very, I don't know, I just thought it was very telling and might be useful for parents who have children who are struggling with their weight.
Yeah, I mean, I basically was dieting my whole childhood. My grandmother was overweight herself, and she didn't want that for me, and so consequently she had the exact opposite effect from what she intended. My first diet, I was 2 years old, and I was a normal sized 2-year-old. I have pictures, and so there was no real reason for that. But yeah, I remember being around the age of 10 or 11, and I had been on a diet, and I had finally gotten to my goal weight, which was 120 pounds or something like that. And we all got, dressed up, and we were going to do a picture afterwards because, Ginny's at her goal weight, have to take a picture. And and I had done my, makeup like a 11-year-old girl does, so I'm sure it was like bright orange lipstick and like blue eyeshadow and like heaps of mascara. But like I was so excited, like I felt like, oh my gosh, I finally accomplished something, amazing. And then we all sat down to have breakfast first. And I reached for a second piece of bacon because everybody else was doing that, and my grandmother, slapped my like hand, and she said, "If you eat, a second piece of bacon, you're just going to get fat again," And it was like that was a really pivotal, moment for me. And I sort of like I was so young, and I had this, realization: my body is never going to be good enough. Like I am never going to be good enough. Nobody's ever going to be happy with my body, and so, I might as well just give up on trying to better it because, it's never going to end. I'm going to be on a diet for the rest of my life, And for a child that young to be having those thoughts, it's just it's really sad. And so that was sort of the moment where I started, sneaking food and eating in secret and like picking up all those eating disordered behaviors because, I thought I was never going to be good enough. So.
And how did your weight sort of progress through your childhood and adolescence?
Yeah, well, after that I started gaining weight really rapidly.
Right.
I mean, I was, babysitting, and so I had pocket money to buy my own food anytime I had access to that. Obviously, I couldn't drive anywhere yet, but I gained 200 pounds in the span of like 4 or 5 years. Because when I was in high school in like 9th or 10th grade, I was 320 pounds. So I went from 120 to 320 just in that short span of time.
Wow.
So, yeah.
This is fascinating. I think all of us in the community have weight issues with food, unhealthy relationships with food, but not all of us have had to deal with it for as long, maybe. Like for me, it didn't become a problem until I graduated from college. So,
yeah, I can't even picture what it was like to have a normal,
Yeah.
Like I was taunted and teased and bullied like all the way through school, like high school. I definitely was like clinically depressed through most of that. I had kids push me down, throw like firecrackers at my feet, literally stone me on the way home one time till I was bleeding and bruised. I mean, they were relentless.
No, so, where was this at? Was this in America?
Yeah. No, I didn't move here until a couple of years ago. Yeah, but there weren't the anti-bullying programs in place. Basically, when I went to the school and said, I'm being bullied, I'm really being bullied, they were like, oh, maybe you should lose some weight so the kids aren't so hard on you.
Oh, that's awful. Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm a teacher. And I would love to say, oh, it's not like that anymore, but no, it's one of my absolute biggest frustrations is like bullies have figured out that we have zero power. Like we have nothing we could do to them, and they have that figured out. It's awful. But,
it's really sad.
Yeah.
I just want to say before we go on to the next question, because I've known you for a while. I knew Jenny before she had surgery. You have always been such a confident woman. That I love that, and I don't know if you know how that happened when you were experiencing all this as a child, because I think that might be helpful for people to hear.
Honestly, it didn't happen until I was through all this, and a grown woman. I mean, when I was 21 or so, I found I was searching for some plus size clothes, and I found the whole BBW fat acceptance community.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically, I found out that there are people who are attracted to plus size people, and there are people who don't think it's terrible to be, overweight, and it's like there are people who actually, celebrate that. And I actually, for the first time, went, maybe I'm not a hideous, ugly monster. Like part of me had always, you know, looked in the mirror and gone, like, I may be fat, but I don't think I'm a terrible person. Like, I don't see that I'm completely hideously ugly, but everybody keeps throwing that at you, you know, like society keeps telling you that you're so worthless that you start to believe it. And so when I found that there was a whole other, you know, viewpoint out that way, that really helped me, you know, sort of start, you know, developing some confidence. And at the time I was dating a guy who had told me that nobody else would ever be attracted to me. And it was finding that group of people that really helped me say, you know what, you're full of baloney, yeah. and leave him. So.
And that's interesting because I didn't find that community until I was like 40. I was always curious about, so many people found it so much younger, and what that would have done to how they showed up in the world.
Yeah, it really did change things for me, and I will always be grateful to it for that, always.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but let's go back to your surgery stuff.
Yep, so I know that you originally considered having the duodenal switch?
Yeah.
The DS.
So, do you want to talk about your decision process a little in terms of what surgery you decided to have?
Well, the DS, like, I did months and months and months of research, and the DS, while it is the most, it's like definitely one that requires a lot of vigilance after surgery. Like, you have to take a whole lot more vitamins, you have to be on top of your protein, you have to be really, really dedicated. But I felt like I had that, like, dedication, that I would be good at keeping up with those things. But there are very few, there are very few what we call vetted surgeons around the world, surgeons who have a lot of experience doing this surgery, and it actually does have the best stats for weight lost and weight kept off long term, which is why I was interested in it, because I had a lot of weight to lose, and everybody kept telling me, you won't lose enough with the sleeve, like that, you just won't, you know. And so, but I went to the only vetted DS surgeon in Australia, who is a 10-hour drive away from me, and he was not comfortable doing it on someone at my start weight. I was still over like 500 pounds, I think, when I first saw him. So he just wasn't, you know, comfortable doing that. And since he's the only vetted DS surgeon in Australia, and it would have cost us so much more to try to go elsewhere, I decided to just listen to him. He said, you know, have the sleeve first, and then if you're like going to have kids, and then if you still want it, you can have the DS. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and I mean, we have a mutual friend who did the sleeve first and then had the DS. It has been just hugely successful.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and thanks to her and to you, like, I couldn't have. I don't think I could have made the choice to have weight loss surgery as, you know, confidently as I did if it hadn't been for talking to Liz and talking to our mutual friend, because I had people like that I knew who had actually done this and done well at it. So. And
I have to tell you, it makes me teary even to think about it, but when you sent me that first message about it, I was just so thrilled that you were considering doing it.
Oh. It's hard.
It is, and particularly in that community that we were part of. You know, I mean,
I fully believed that, you know, weight loss surgery would either kill you or it wouldn't work and you would regain all the weight, and I believed that for most of my life, you know, most of my adult life.
Let's talk about that a little bit since we're on it. So that's where Jenny and I met, was through a online, I don't know, what is it, like bulletin? I don't know, what do you call it? Just like some online forum community that was focused on BBWs and the men who were attracted to them. Mm-hmm. And people were very down on weight loss surgery in that community for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't even allowed to really talk about it, and if you did, it had to be negative. You could never say anything positive about it.
Yeah, so, and you know what's really interesting? Well, what's really interesting to me is both the person who, I got a message from Gretchen. I'm going to read this. She goes, I love her. I want to be her friend.
You are my friend, Gretchen. You already are.
She means in real life. But both well, number one, the person who founded that community, who is a man who has always been attracted to women who were what we call SS BBWs, so supersized BBWs, which are like 350 pounds and above, has been so supportive of my journey. He's on my regular Facebook page, and he is always like encouraging things. And last night I went to an event, and I actually invited my the person who introduced me to that community, who was my boyfriend at the time for a couple of years, and we're friends now, and I invited him to come with me. And I was telling him, because I thought he might know you, I was telling him that you had weight loss surgery and you were going to be on the show and whatever. And he said, you know, I really feel like I need to make amends to you and to the women who have been part of my life for all these years, because even though that's what I'm attracted to, it was not right of me to encourage you to be in an unhealthy place. And I see how different you are now than you were then when we were dating. And it's just like, I mean, you are full of light now, and you were miserable before.
Aww.
So you were very ingrained in that community. How was the process of that when you decided to have weight loss surgery? I know it was something you were worried about.
Actually, I hope that that this guy that I am about to like message is somehow seeing this at some point.
Okay.
I was on like I used to go looking to there, you know, guys who are attracted to larger women, just like guys who are attracted to any other thing. They share photos back and forth when they find, you know, women that they find, you know, particularly lovely, right? And so I used to like check certain boards for like photos of me just because I just wanted, you know, as a like person in like PR, I just like to know what is out there, you know. And like there was never anything bad to like find, but I just, you know. And this one time I saw this picture of this beautiful, gorgeous 600-pound woman posted. I won't say who she was, but these guys who are all like attracted to women of this size were like on there, and like one of them goes, "You better enjoy her while you can, bro, because you know once they hit 600 pounds, they all either die or have weight loss surgery." And that just like it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like this is somebody who is attracted to people this size. And I mean, so he's biased in favor of people this size, and he's saying, women the size I am now either die or have weight loss surgery. And I just sort of, you know, kicked me in the gut, and I went, I'm not gonna die. Like I'm 30-something years old. I'm not gonna die. I'm not ready for that. And I was at a place where I had been, you know, hospitalized several times, and every time I was in the hospital with cellulitis in my legs, I was freaked out that that was going to be the last time that I, you know, because I would go in with like dangerously low, you know, blood pressure and like serious infections, and I just like hospitals are scary places, and I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in and out of a hospital, and so those two things combined really, you know, helped me make that decision. And I was very scared when I announced on my Facebook page that I was going to lose friends, but you know, especially people in the BBW community. I thought for sure I would lose friends, but I honestly don't think that I lost any. I might have lost one or two that I didn't interact with, but
really care about. Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I got so many supportive messages from both women and men, and one guy that I definitely didn't expect a similar experience to you, Liz, and he's just been so incredibly supportive. And you know, I just really, I was really scared, and you know, nothing happened. Like everybody, but I did explain why I was having it, that I was having it for health reasons, that I was afraid that I wasn't going to be around much longer, and it was kind of, you know, I was feeling, you know, backed into a corner. It was either do this or give up, and I wasn't going to give up. So I think people understood that.
So are you guys still a part of that community?
I'm not. I don't know, Jenny, if you are. I mean, I have friends on Facebook who, I mean, but I never go to that community, really.
I wouldn't say that I'm active in it. I definitely still read. I definitely still encourage people to be, you know, body, you know, positive. I don't ever tell anybody they should have weight loss surgery. I would never do that. I just like live my own life and put it out there so that anybody looking for it can find what my experience has been.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. My interaction is mainly via Facebook, and I basically discovered it because of that particular named guy who who I was dating. And I was telling him last night, I never totally bought into it. I mean, if you find it when you're 21, I think it's one thing. But when you're 40, I'm like, yeah, this may sound right, but it's really about the fact that you're finding people who are attracted to you when you've never had people who are attracted to you.
Yeah, which honestly,
and it may not be. I mean, not the body positive piece of it, but the romantic piece of it.
Yeah, but see, I never had any problems finding boyfriends or dates or anything, but it was mostly within that community. But I did buy into it, and I still buy into it. I still think it's very important for people who are plus size to have a place to go to really recognize that there are people like. You are just because you are 350, 450, 550, 650 pounds doesn't mean that nobody is going to be attracted to you, And,
and from that perspective, I totally agree from that perspective. Yeah. Okay, so that's how Jenny and I met.
This is fascinating.
A few years back. And I mean, I have very close friends who are part of that community. It was very eye-opening to me because I always had boyfriends too, but I didn't get to be like supersized until I was close to 40. I mean, I was overweight, but I had never dated somebody who was like into that until I was 40.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, let's go back to your weight loss surgery thing. So, what have been your biggest struggles, do you think, as far as proceeding through this process?
Oh, jeez. It's been actually easier than I thought it would be. The hard part is just the like day-to-day focus on getting in enough protein, getting enough water. But like I know that won't always be a struggle. Like the further out I get, the easier it'll be for me to eat more, drink more, whatever. But I have had some reflux issues, but that's not super uncommon with the sleeve. But we are trying to get that figured out with my doctor, and hopefully that won't be an issue too much longer. But it's manageable. I would do this over again in a heartbeat because I had when I first moved here, and they do say that a change in your environment is like the number one way to help you make positive changes for yourself, because it kind of picks you up and uproots you out of whatever unhealthy place you were before. And I really found that to be true here. I moved here, and my husband, even though he's this big around, is insulin resistant. He's a really tiny guy, and so he wanted to eat low GI, which is low glycemic index, and yeah, and so because it was good for him, so I said, well, I'm going to do that with you. We can both do that together. And then I didn't even realize that I was losing a significant chunk of weight at first because I didn't even have a scale here that would weigh me. I had shipped it from the U.S., but it was going by boat, and it wasn't here yet for 3 or 4 months. And so I didn't know until I stepped on that scale when it got here, because Andrew kept saying, "You lost a lot of weight." I was like, "You are so full of it. Like, I look exactly the same. I don't know what you're talking about." And I stepped on the scale, and I had lost 75 pounds. Just
wow.
in the first 3.5 months here, I lost 75 pounds, but probably mostly from walking around Sydney and eating low GI, because I was still eating, I was still having him pick me up, cookies at the store, and I wasn't, really limiting what I ate. I was just eating mostly low GI. And I just lost that much weight, but then my weight stalled after that. And then I was hospitalized on our wedding night with.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, with I have an autoimmune disorder that makes me more prone to being hospitalized with cellulitis, and I ended up in the hospital on our wedding night, and And seeing his face, like seeing the face of this man who had just committed his whole life to me, you know, like looking at me so worried, I was just like, I can't, no, it's like, I never want to see him look at me like this ever again, you know. And I had a doctor who kept pressing me, have you thought about weight loss surgery? Have you thought about weight loss surgery? And normally I would switch doctors if one did that to me because, you know, I was like, no, weight loss surgery. But after I got out, my husband, who has always been very anti-weight loss surgery as well, because he was part of that same, you know, community, he said, you know, maybe this is something we should think about, you know. And that, at first it smacked me in the face, and I was like upset at him for saying that, because I was like, you are supposed to love my body at any size, and you know, I didn't actually say that, but I just took a couple of days to think, and I thought, he does love me, he does love my body, and he is scared for me, and he wants me to be healthy, he wants me to be around. And like, I went and looked at the stats. Like, you look at the stats on dieting, and you look at the stats on weight loss surgery, and yes, weight loss surgery is not perfect. It doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't work 100% of the time for like 100% of your excess weight loss, but it does a hell of a lot better than dieting, you know. And I was like, if I want to lose weight, if I want to stay out of the hospital, then this is the way I have to do it. So that's how I ended up making that choice.
And I just have to throw in how cute Jenny's husband is. So if you aren't friends with her on Facebook, you should be, so you can see he's super cute.
Yeah, he's a cutie. Does it bother you when people say that, or is that a compliment?
That he's cute?
Yeah.
Why would that bother me?
I don't know. People tell me all the time that my husband's attractive, and I'm like, yeah, he is. I know he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me
Why
either.
wouldn't you want that? Yeah.
Yeah. So, how about your biggest NSVs?
Oh gosh, like my life has changed so much, and I think one of your like questions for me is going to be how my life has changed in the last 3 years. Can I?
Yes,
combine
you can,
that?
because because it's 5:45.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so like 3 years ago, I would have been basically sitting at home on my couch after work, you know, and I would have stopped on the way home and gotten a big bag of some kind of, you know, fast food, and I would be sitting there on the internet for hours and hours and hours eating, because I couldn't stand to like cook up, like I couldn't stand up to cook for myself, like a meal. I couldn't stand that long. And so literally every meal I ate was like fast food, and I was trying to lose weight still with that. I was seeing a therapist for my eating disorder, which is the #1 thing I think people should do, by the way, guys. Therapy has been the most helpful thing to me through this whole process. But I was seeing her, and I was seeing a nutritionist also, who was trying to help me make good choices within the like narrow realm of like fast food, you know. And I ate fast food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I definitely could not go out and see a movie in a regular theater. Like, I would have to find one that had cuddle seats. I couldn't, you know, sit like 2 seats together. I couldn't sit in a booth. I couldn't go to a show. I couldn't walk more than, like, the distance between the parking garage where I worked and the building, which were like right next to each other, and my like going up to my office felt huge. Like, just walking around the floor to get to the bathroom would wind me. And now I can walk like 3 miles if I want to, you know. Yeah. But like the best changes by far have been my health. I haven't been hospitalized since I had weight loss surgery. I've not had to go back in the hospital for cellulitis, or, you know, people told me that my lymphedema probably would not change that much. My lymphedema, because I also have lipedema, but my legs have changed like you know, crazy. They're very, very different, and there's much less fluid in them, which makes me much less prone to cellulitis. So staying out of the hospital is my #1 NSV, I would have to say. And I can, you know, get behind the wheel of a car now. I can climb the steps of the Opera House. I mean, there's like anything that I want to do, I can typically do. There's there's not much that I'm, you know, limited to anymore, and that I'm so grateful for that. Just it's life is very different, and I can actually stand up and cook. Unfortunately, don't tell my husband that. He still does most of the cooking. But yeah, there's. Go ahead, Liz.
I was going to say, it just sort of gives me chills to hear you say these things, and I'm just so very happy for you. And I think sort of leads into my next question. Then maybe Jennifer, you can go back to Nirvana's question.
Okay.
But so in the YouTube community, I feel like it's mainly people who have like 100, maybe 125 pounds to lose. So I think it's very few and far between that you see people who are 400, 500, 600 pounds in this community. And that's one of the reasons I'm so grateful to you for making videos. And I hear it from people all the time that it's like, okay, it's really great to see somebody who is this size. How has that, you know, being one of the few people who are that size who makes videos and interacts in this community, how has that been for you?
It feels odd sometimes. I mean, it's really hard because like a lot of people who are, especially on the Aussie groups, because the Aussies tend to have weight loss surgery at even lower weights than Americans do. There was somebody recently having the sleeve, and she was like 170 pounds.
What?
So, yeah.
See, I try not to judge the low weight.
Yeah, I mean, that's below some people's goal weights. So.
Well, I mean, Jennifer.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, but like most people start out below my goal weight, and my goal weight is 250. You know, and so a lot of people start out below that, and that, like Liz says, it's very hard to kind of wrap your head around. You know. But like people that size do have, you know, health issues. They have struggles with, you know, losing weight, like maybe not quite the same way that I do, but they still do. And so, you know, people have to make their own choice with their own doctor. And so I've sort of had to have that conversation with myself. You know,
sometimes it's tough, and particularly early on, it was tough for me when people, and I absolutely support everybody and love everybody who does this, but it was a little tough in the beginning when people would have it, and then 6 months later, like my BFF Amy, and they, you know, and they hit their goal, and you know, here I am 2 years later and still not there. But
yeah, and like Tutorville, which is a word that I really don't. Anyway, hitting that was kind of like, you know, wonderland for me, which is another way
it's huge. I never thought I would be in the 200s again, ever.
No, I didn't either, and I don't ever expect to be under 250. If I end up there naturally, then fine, but my goal is 250. So I just I feel like for someone who started out at 600 pounds, that's enough weight loss.
Yeah, it's huge. And I just want to, if anybody, I mean, I know it's harder. I think it's harder for people who are at those weights to make videos because it's a much different, I mean, it's, I don't know who says this, but somebody says circus freak fat. I mean, it's a much different way of existing in the world. And I encourage those people to engage and to think about making videos and do things because it's really important for all the other people who are out there like that. So
yeah, and I haven't had any haters. Maybe I just don't have enough followers yet.
I don't know. I haven't getting one consistent thumbs down, but other than that, I haven't either.
So Nirvana had a question. She said, since she has always loved her body, being in the BBW community, how does it differ not compared to when she was at her highest?
It's actually harder. I actually struggle more now at 295 pounds to look in the mirror and see myself as beautiful, than I did at 600 pounds, you know, because I had years to develop, you know, confidence in my, you know, plus size body, right? And so, but now my body is rapidly changing. So it's like I do find, you know, largeness, fatness, beautiful, you know, and so now I have this idea in my head of what beautiful means to me and what my body being beautiful means to me, and it's changing. It's rapid. We were sitting on the couch the other night, and my husband points at my belly, and he's like, "Oh, those are new wrinkles."
Thank you.
Thanks for that. But like he doesn't mean anything bad by it. He's just being, you know, observant. But yeah, no, it is a process, and you know, therapy I think has really helped with that, because I'm having to build a whole new identity around who I am, and you know, what I think of myself and what I think of the world at this size. It's very different. You know, I'm still the same person, obviously, and I still have a hard time wrapping myself around, like wrapping my head around the idea that I'm so much smaller. Like, I still look in the mirror and it's hard for me to see that much difference until I do a before and after photo.
Yeah.
Like, I still kind of see the same person. Liz knows what I mean, I think.
Yeah,
I think
but it's huge. I mean, the difference in you is huge. And you were beautiful then, and you're beautiful now. So
thank you. Yeah.
So
it takes work. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, we started a few minutes late, so I think we have 10 minutes left. Is that okay?
Okay.
So let's really quickly hit 3 things.
Okay.
How have your relationships changed? Talk about exercise and talk about your diet in 7 minutes, so we still have time for our Inside the WLS questions.
Small challenge. Okay, relationships really, like, some of my friendships are different, just because, like, my life is different, but those, like, friendships were already trending towards being different before I had weight loss surgery, because I've moved, I'm married, like, things are just very, very different for me now. But no one's, you know, dropped me as a friend, as far as I know. You know, and I still, you know, care about the same people, and now I just have new friends, you know, also, which has been fabulous. I've met the most amazing people through this community. You know, I feel very, very lucky for that. And my relationship with my husband has only gotten better. I was worried that maybe he would be less and less attracted to me, but he, you know, cares about me being healthy, and he's really thrilled to see me getting healthier and healthier, and like able to go out and do more things with him. So his he isn't less, you know, less attracted. He's actually more attracted. So
That's
you know,
awesome.
it's been nothing but like positive for me in regards to that. And let's see, exercise. As you know, I kicked it up a couple of months ago. I was just walking everywhere I could. I was taking walks around my neighborhood just to start. But I wanted to make sure when I was walking 3 or 4 miles a day that I wasn't pushing myself too hard. And so I got myself an exercise physiologist who is, you know, expert at making sure you don't hurt yourself while you're pushing yourself. And he actually said to me, I think you could be doing more, which is not what I expected to hear. And so he actually told me, you know, get to the gym 5 days a week, and like we're going to aim for, like, we're going to work towards 60 minutes of cardio, and like 5 days a week, and 30 to 40 minutes of weights 3 days a week. And so that's what we've done, and I've been nailing it. I had to take a break recently for medical reasons, just for like 10 days, but now I'm back on it, and so very excited to be back on it. I did miss it, and but you do lose some of it when you're out of it for even 10 days. Like Liz, Liz is nodding.
I am nodding. I was like 3 weeks not going, and I went yesterday, and I could barely walk today. Thank you, Brandon.
Good job, Brandon.
Yeah.
But yeah, and as far as diet, I aim for the more protein, the better. 60 was my minimum. I'm kind of thinking of 80 as my minimum now, and I aim for 100 grams of protein every day. I stay between 1,000 and 1,200 calories. And if I drop under 1,000, my weight loss slows. So I work very hard to make sure I get in at least 1,000. And
I loved it when you had to convince your doctor of that was actually going to work.
Yeah, that was very, very funny. That my endocrinologist told me that I would, like, the like, you know, fewer calories I ate, the like more I would lose, and I needed to stop forcing myself to get to 1,000 calories, and then my weight stalled the whole month that I was doing what she said. So I think it's just all a real, trial and error process, and there don't seem to be, definitive answers about what works, post-op. You just sort of have to keep experimenting until you find something that works for your body, because we're all so different,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I started out at like 60 grams net of carbs, which is really just like moderate carbs, and then I kicked it back to 40, and then kicked it back to 20, because I really wanted to get under 300 pounds for the first time in forever. And so I'm going to stick with keto for at least another month, and we'll see how I do. If I'm losing rapidly, I may stay keto, but I find it really hard to stay keto for long periods of time, because my diet is mostly meat and cheese when I do that, which, while I love meat and cheese, man cannot live on that alone. So there are people who do different things with it, and are probably much more creative at it than I am. I don't know, but yeah, so we'll see. So that's what I'm currently doing, and it seems to be working. So
okay, so Jen, why don't you do the inside the WLS questions? But real quick, one tip for people. What's your one tip?
Oh God. Never give up. Don't like one of the main things that I've had to learn is, if I goof up somewhere, if I goof somewhere, I just get right back on the horse. Like, don't just give up and throw the baby out with the bathwater. Being successful is about keeping on going and not just giving up anytime something small happens to you. So
yeah, a very wise woman once said, "You ate a bagel, you didn't kill a baby."
Exactly.
Okay, so inside the WLS questions, what is your favorite word?
What is my favorite word? I know what my least favorite words are.
Well, that's next.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was gonna, prepare for these, but Nirvana said they're more fun if they're off the cuff, so then I didn't. So blame her. My favorite word is probably coffee.
And your least favorite word?
I have two. One is a phrase, which is gone forever, and the second one is moderation.
That just made me think, when you said phrase, that probably my least favorite phrase is, "You have such a pretty face." Anyway.
Oh, that too. That too.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Nature, all three. I love being out and just seeing nature. Some of the best creative experiences I have ever had have been when I'm out alone in the middle of nature with no one around for miles, and just peace and quiet. And yeah, that's my happy place, outside.
That sounds really nice.
It does. I'm gonna go to the beach after this and take a walk.
Aw, Liz, I'm so jealous.
Come visit.
I'm still wearing a winter coat. No, I need to move. I need to be your neighbor.
You do need to be my neighbor. Everybody needs to be my neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen. Okay, so what turns you off?
Unkindness. People being mean to each other.
Oh, I hate that too. What is your favorite curse word?
I am a sci-fi geek, so frack.
Oh, I love it.
That's what we've never had before.
That is my all-time favorite sci-fi series.
Every time you ask that question of other folks, I think that's the one I didn't have to think of.
Okay, can I admit that I have no idea what sci-fi series you're talking about?
Battlestar Galactica.
The new one. Well, it's not new, but not the 70s version.
Yeah.
I've seen the 70s version and the more recent version. So.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, you and I are gonna have to talk sometime. Okay. I won't kick out right now. Okay. So, what sound or noise do you love?
This is so like cliche, but it really is my like favorite. Laughing children, like children, just like it's just my favorite noise in the whole world. And I spent my whole childhood, well, not childhood, but adolescent years and early adult years, babysitting for this awesome family who are like my family now, and their kids laughing was always the highlight of my week. So,
what sound or noise do you hate?
My cat scratching the carpet because I know my husband's going to yell at her if she's around.
And what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I really want to write a book about this whole journey, which is another of my least favorite words.
I hate that word.
About this whole thing. I really feel like that would be a good thing. I am a writer. I'm a decent writer, and I just have a serious case of what if it's a terrible book syndrome. So I haven't started writing it yet, but hopefully I will eventually.
I think you should. I think you have a fascinating story to share, and I think that you should share it with the world. And I think it would help a lot of people.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer.
What profession would you not like to do?
Trapeze artist.
Okay. Okay, good answer.
That's the first thing I thought of. I'm sort of scared of heights, and I'm very klutzy, so yeah, I'd be dead in like a day. So.
And if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would like to hear God say, it doesn't matter to me what religion you are, or if you have been religious or not. It just matters to me if you have been kind to your fellow man, and you have left the world better than you found it. That's my ultimate goal.
Okay. I'm going to steal that because we've been doing this show for I don't know how many months now, and I can never think of an answer for that question, and I love that. Like that's my answer too.
Oh,
that's
thank you.
That's like the 5th time you've given me chills since we've been talking tonight.
Oh, thank you, Liz.
So I just want to thank you so much for joining us and getting up early for us. And I want to promote the next couple of weeks' shows. Next week is Fat King's Phil, which is exciting. I think, is that the first time, Jennifer, for him? My voice is still gone from Chicago. Why? How could my voice be gone 2 weeks later?
This is terrible. I can't remember if he's been on the show before or not.
I don't think
I know TJ was, but
yeah.
Okay. So it probably wasn't for lack of trying. I'm sure we tried to get him.
Yeah. Well, I can't try too hard because he won't ever accept my Facebook friend request. That's going to be my first question for him. Why won't you ever accept my Facebook friend request? But whatever. Anyway. And Gastric Tiger is going to be the co-host. And then the following week, April 10th, VSG Jody is going to be our guest. And we're going to have a special co-host from Canada, which is Scotty RNY.
Yay!
So that's awesome.
Talk about cute. He's super cute.
He is super cute. I have to say, he is super cute.
I think he might know it though. I'm not sure. It's better when they don't know they're cute.
Well, I'm not sure if he does not. I don't know. He told me today that if I took a plane to Chicago, he'd make me Easter dinner.
Ooh, nice.
Awesome. So you want to close us out, Jennifer?
Yes. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. When we get to 1,500 subscribers, Liz is going to do a special giveaway. Woohoo! So subscribe, and we're almost at 1,300, so that is awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Okay.